For the last time in the 2021 regular season, the Sparks take the home floor as they welcome the defending champion, Seattle Storm. Just one playoff spot remaining, and there are three teams all vying for it. The Sparks find themselves a game and a half behind the 8th and final playoff spot. And we welcome you inside Staples Center alongside Roz Golden-Woode. I'm Rashawn Haylock, and Roz, it was a tough night the other night against Connecticut. What's the bounce back have to be like for the Sparks here?
It begins with pride, and then after pride, it's got to be a strong start. Against the Connecticut Sun, the Sparks did not start the game with a competitive mindset or approach. In today's game, there are opportunities that they cannot let slip away. They've got to come together as a team and seize this win to have a shot at the playoffs.
It's been an injury-riddled season for the Sparks. Nneka Ogwumike caught in that mix, but she's been back post-All-Star break and doing what she does.
Since coming back from the Olympic break and injury, Nneka Ogwumike has been a revelation. I'm impressed with how she's hunted her shot. She's aggressively seeking opportunities around the rim where she's very efficient and has great athleticism to lean on. Erica Wheeler is also somebody who's bringing consistency to this team, primarily just by showing up. I mean, 29 starts. She's the only player on this team that has done that this season. That's a form of leadership in the way that she's been able to lead this team, create shots for herself, step up in clutch situation and hit big ones, and also get her teammates involved.
Breanna Stewart will be missing her second straight game for Seattle with a foot injury, but all that means is more shots for Jewell Loyd.
And you know what? Jewell Loyd welcomes all of those shots because she's not afraid of the moment. She does a really great job of utilizing her dribble to probe the defense. She can beat that first line of defense off the dribble and create space, go into the rim, pull up, even pull up for three. She can play at all ranges, and she's been doing a better and better job of reading what the defense is giving her. It always helps, though, when you got Sue Bird, the veteran, one of the top 25 players in WNBA history, to lean on. I mean, just leadership, veteran play, and gets other people involved.
It's the Sparks and the Storm on HBCU night here inside Staples Center. Next. Tip-off from downtown Los Angeles, just moments away, but earlier, Roz caught up with head coach Derek Fisher.
Coach, coming into tonight's game, you guys have missed a few opportunities. What's the mentality needed to seize this one today?
Take advantage of it. Embrace it. Most of the time, you know, your greatest breakthroughs come after those disappointments and after those adverse situations. So we have to take advantage of this opportunity tonight. It's our last regular season home game. You know, we owe it to our fans. We owe it to each other to go and leave it all out there.
Absolutely, and the team is still in the fight for a playoff push here, so each game is needed. This has been a season where, you know, there's been injuries, there's been changing rosters, but one consistent, Erica Wheeler is the only player to have started all 29 games. What has it meant to be able to lean on her this season?
Yeah, I mean, that's a great form of leadership. You can't always perform well, can't always make every shot, but you can show up for your team every night when you're healthy. And, you know, Erica's been beat up at times, but she still laced them up and got out there and given us everything that she has. So, you know, we can build on that example. You know, Nia Coffey is a player that's been available every night. Like, you know, those are the kind of players we want to build with. And hopefully tonight we can get a win.
Absolutely. And tonight, Jewell Loyd, she plays both sides of the court. You know, what are the things to focus on with her, not allowing her to take control of the game?
You know, just understand that she's going to make shots. Like, she's a shot maker. We just have to make her work as hard as possible for everything. She's a three-level scorer. She can get to the rim. She can score in the mid-range. She can shoot the three. So it's going to be a tough task, but it's going to require all 5 of our defensive players. It's not just Brittany Sykes' job to slow Jewell Loyd down. It's the LA Sparks' job.
Thank you, Coach. Good luck.
Thanks, Roz.
Lineups and tip-off from Staples Center. Next. Tonight's starting lineups with no Stewie, Katie Lou Samuelson into the starting lineup at the 4. Noah Quinn expects big things from her, Roz.
But one thing Coach Quinn pointed out to us, though, is to set expectations. You don't just make up for Breanna Stewart's contributions. It's going to need every single person in the starting lineup and coming off the bench for the Seattle Storm to chip in extra to try to make up for Stewie's impact.
You talked about Erica Wheeler starting every game. Nia Coffey has played in every game and finds herself in the starting lineup tonight as well.
Nia Coffey is somebody who has brought consistency, reliability, dependability as a defender, and has stepped up big on the offensive end. Just what is that, a jackknife? A jack of all trades.
Swiss Army knife, jack of all trades.
I put the saying together, but you know what I mean. She could do a little bit of everything, and she's willing to do whatever the Sparks need to do to win.
Sparks wearing their whites for the final time here on the Staples Center floor here in the regular season. Take a look at Sue Bird, recently named one of the top 25 players in WNBA history. Now a 5-time Olympic gold medalist as well. And Seattle in their greens as we get ready to start this one here inside Staples Center. Sparks find themselves pretty much in a must-win situation, Roz.
It is a must-win situation for the Sparks. If they lose this game, they are out of playoff contention. There have been a number of opportunities that they've had right there, particularly on that six-game road trip, that long road trip that they had, and they let it slip away. And so now this is their last chance. There's a lot at stake.
6 games, 15 days it was. Seattle had a long road trip of their own, spanning the same amount of time, and had some up and down results as well that we'll get into in just a moment. But here's Ogwumike and Russell to jump center as they're on their feet here inside Staples Center for HBCU night. Seattle controls the tip, and they'll have it to start the 4th and final period. Here's Jewel Lloyd.
Big key to the game tonight for the Sparks. Strong start to the game.
Here's Talbot from 3. That one comes up very short, and Erica Wheeler with the rebound. Sparks fans had to stand up a long time last time they were in this building, waiting for the home team to scratch, get their first bucket. Here's Erica Wheeler on the attack, comes up short, no foul, but wrestling for it against Russell, and can't come up with it. Here's Sue Bird with a hop in her step. Katie Lou Sanderson, local product out of Huntington Beach, down in Orange County. Jewel Lloyd the step back. She's dangerous, and she hits her first shot.
Did you see how much space she created on that step back? I mean, it's really off of that final rhythm dribble, the strength in her legs and in her core to be able to push backwards and create that space while going up in balance. Coach Quinn talked with us about the transformation and strength of her body coming into the season for Jewel Lloyd. You see it there in that kind of shot.
Here's Amanda Zowie B coming up long, and rebounds off to Bird. So the Sparks have missed their first 2 shots, as Talbot will try a 3, and Brittany Sykes there for the rebound. Sykes, a candidate for Defensive Player of the Year, finds Nneka the trailer, steps into a long 2 and gets it, and they can sit down.
Right, so to your point, against the Connecticut Sun last game, the Sparks, you know, it was kind of ugly fast.
Spotted them 17.
17-0 run to start the game, and so fans were waiting a long time standing for them to score. You cannot start a game. You got to be competitive in your approach. In that game, it just felt like the Sparks weren't ready. This is a pride moment right now.
Here's Derek. Here's Brittany Sykes on the in and out. Derek Fisher saying something to your point, Roz, in the sense that he felt like his team was ready to play the game. But then once the game started, not sure if they're necessarily ready to handle the adversity and everything that comes with it, as Russell is able to get the basket from point-blank range.
That's a beautiful read of the defense from the Storm. I mean, first reading for the back door and then making extra passes. They're on a string in connectivity together.
Ogwumike against Russell. She gets bumped and gets a foul call.
The Seattle Storm really reading what the defense has given them here. Bounce passes, good timing, good spacing, everyone working together and being unselfish, also moving without the ball and towards the basket. You get rewarded with that kind of effort.
Here's Wheeler against the veteran Bird, and we're going to have a whistle. Mercedes Russell. So quickly, Russell with 2 quick fouls, so she'll have to go to the bench and enter Ezi Magbagor.
And
Magbagor has had some success against the Sparks. You know, when you've seen it and experienced it, especially as a young player, gives you a lot of confidence in the game.
You saw Noel Quinn there. The local product is Bird hits the deck, and Wheeler knocks down the elbow jumper. You don't treat the vets that way, Wheeler.
Now, haters will say she probably stepped on her foot, but from where we're sitting, oh, she dropped Sue Bird on that crossover.
So disrespectful.
Hey, it happened. Again, I can't stress enough how big Erica Wheeler has been this season. The only player to start all 29 games for the Sparks. Oh, no, she stepped on her own foot. Hopefully Sue Bird hasn't hurt herself there, but Erica Wheeler with the crossover got Sue Bird tripped up on the play. That is an incredible play. You know, sometimes you have $1 million move nickel shot. She finished it with the make, too.
Shot. Yeah, and that's a great point.
You know, Sue Bird just nominated or put on the list of the top 25 players all time. You know, that's something you remember.
You remember that one? Yeah. If there's you're involved in those NFTs. If she can get an NFT of that,
you got a WNBA Top Shot that for sure.
Here's Bird. Long on the jumper. Last time down, Brittany Sykes hitting the 3 for the Sparks. They lead by 5 here in the early going. Here's Wheeler. Pick and pop with Zowie B. She's got to get one to fall. That one long as well. Zowie B struggles have been chronicled here.
You know, I think with Amanda Zowie B, the influx of healthy players back into the lineup kind of shakes the role she had built during the first half of the season when Nneka and Shanae was out. And even Christy Tolliver changed the way the game was playing, and she found good rhythm there. She hasn't found it really since the Olympic break. And with players returning, and that's hard because, you know, now the focus of the offense changes, but you still want her to be aggressive and assertive and looking for her shot as well. It's tough. It's a tough balance.
I think that goes for a lot of players on this roster as well, Roz. I mean, some asked to take on larger roles and/or smaller roles once injured players return. Here's Bird, a wide open look at 3. You can't leave her open.
No, and Sue Bird is just, you know, at this point, just methodically will wear on you over the course of the game. You leave her open for a 3, she's going to knock it down. You know, you're going under screen, she's going to pull up for her jump shot. You're overplaying, she's going to hit you with an assist.
Coffee wide open for 3. She gets it. Nia Coffey. She's hit 48% of her 3-point field goals over the last 6 games and knocks down that one there.
Derek Fisher told us before the game, Nia Coffey has been one of the highlights of this season. Best surprises, if you will. Just her ability to step up and be counted on to make big plays on either end. Sue Bird knocking down the 3, that's a big play, but then Coffey responds, nice extra pass from Wheeler, getting her involved, and Coffey is ready from the corner to knock that down. But, you know, you talk about a career in Coffey where it's been kind of journeywoman-ish and in just a short span already. It seems like she's found something that works here with the Sparks, and you know, Derek Fisher also said, it's not only us that like what we're seeing. You know, she's gained attention from around the league.
Yes, absolutely. And that's a great point by you, Roz. As she's definitely played her way into a lot of attention around the league, and Coffey going to be an unrestricted free agent at the end of this season. And so you would think the Sparks would like to have her back, but I think the price may have went up on her this season.
Yesterday's price is not today's price. The price went up.
Facts.
You know, look, life comes at you fast.
Nneka.
It has been so much fun watching Nneka Ogwumike come back from injury and really just be aggressive in the second half of the season. You know, naturally, she's a giving teammate, and she really had to shift her mindset, and that's something she said Simona Augustus helped her with. Thinking about, I'm number 1 option, I got to take my shots and hunt for them and look for them. So Nneka Ogwumike helping the Sparks be up 14-9 as we take a break. We'll be back.
No Stewie in the lineup tonight for Seattle, the MVP candidate. You see 3rd in the league of points, 5th in rebounds. We saw another MVP candidate the other night here in Jonquel Jones, but with Stewie being out of the lineup, the hope is that she'll be able to rest and rehab that injured left foot that she suffered earlier in the week against Washington and be able to come back for the playoffs. As you take a look at Noel Quinn there, but obviously health of the utmost importance for Stewie at this point and for the Storm team.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's a huge deal when you lose the reigning finals MVP, and you know, we could talk about all the ways she can score the ball and the points she brings to the table and rebounds, but another aspect is what she brings to the table defensively. You know, she's third in the league for blocks, just under 2 blocks per game, and that's what she's touching. She changes shots. She's got great length. Defensively, Stewie has a great impact.
Such an underrated part of her game.
You know?
Yeah. Because, I mean, she, like you said, like she does that on the defensive end in terms of being a rim protector, so to speak. And I don't think, because of how great she is offensively, I don't think she gets nearly enough credit for what she does on the defensive side of the ball. And that's why she's the total package.
Exactly. You know, you look at this Storm team, they've won 2 in a row, but they also have lost 3 in a row. Like, since the Commissioner Cup win, they really have struggled with consistency. And this is an important game for them to, like, just build consistency and momentum into playoffs.
Coffee the step through.
Coffee right there, just playing in passing lanes. Good instinct, timing, and then gets a nice gather step to make sure she finishes between the defense and the layup in transition. You know, Coffee continues to, it almost feels like she's improving over the course of the season.
Derek Fisher saying we ran her into the ground in the first half of the season. The little less minutes and a more defined role here in this second half. She certainly has benefited from that, and the numbers have shown.
Well, Nia Coffey, you know, also there's a lot of intellectual endurance there from her, in the sense that she's defending 2, 3, 4, 5. Like, she's defending all the positions. She's got to know the scout on multiple players. She's got to know the plays for multiple positions, you know, to be ready for everything the Sparks have had to lean on her for.
Here's Lloyd with it against Sykes. Matchup to watch here tonight. Taya Cooper, who just checked into the game, defending now. Here's Talbot, the long pass out to Lloyd. Nice ball movement. Lou Samuelson, no. And the rebound's off to Zowie B. Her 4th rebound tonight.
A part of why the Storm were kind of struggling for a second. The 3-point shot wasn't going down. Defensively, Coach Quinn told us, you know, defensively we didn't have the right effort and intensity, and then pace. You know, and they're tired. The bodies of 5 of the players were in the Olympics, you know? So it's been a careful balance of trying to rest, but also trying to get that old thing back, get that mojo back.
And they went through that while going through a 15-day road trip like the Sparks did as well. Like, that Commissioner's Cup really was like the start of a 2-week road trip, as that game kind of just got thrown in there because they ended up winning, you know, the first half of the season. But that ended up being even more time on the road. And so they had to kind of had to sort through some things on that road trip. Ended up finishing 2 and 3 on the road trip. They did win the Commissioner's Cup, but of course that doesn't count in the standings or the overall record.
I mean, the first half of the season and then into that Commissioner's Cup game, the Storm was looking wildly dominant.
Sykes to the front of the cup. No, Galante's in there fighting for the rebound, and the Rook comes up with it. Here's Cooper, Cox. Down the lane, oh, nice pass to Nneka, left hand, yeah, buddy. Sparks, I know it's early, they're out rebounding Seattle, 11-6. That's a big point, Ross. And a timeout taken by Seattle.
Nneka Ogwumike, you know, when she's that close to the basket, you catch her in motion, she's going to find a way to finish that ball. She's an efficient scorer. She's got great elevation to get over there, and it starts with the rebound. Arella Garantes showing the effort that creates blue-collar plays like this. Cox with a heads-up look to Nneka Ogwumike. Cox looking more and more comfortable within the offense now that she's had some time to actually play with the team after just being thrust onto the court. So,
hey, how you doing? I'm Lauren.
What are the plays? What we running?
You got a jersey for me?
Right.
Let's go, Sparks fans. Don't miss any of the in-game action all season long. 24/7 membership is now on sale at AXS.com. Get your season tickets today. 2020 22 will be live. I'll just say that right now. Going to get Jasmine Walker back for this team. Yep. Hopefully, every team kind of goes through maybe a season where they have just a ridiculous amount of injuries. Hopefully, that's all out the way. So you're looking at a more healthier bunch, a more healthier squad. And another year for Derek Fisher in the dual role, right? And I think he mentioned something that was very critical to us earlier today, in the point that, you know, the results haven't been there, but some of the things that he's been adamant about, they've shown to be true. And so it's just a matter of putting it all together, and players, you know, using the work to improve during the offseason. But definitely looks like a franchise on the rise, so to speak.
Yeah, and you think about what they've consistently been missing. You know, Christy Tolliver is out.
Never cleaning up.
Nneka Ogwumike again, just working hard on the glass, moving without the ball around the rim, and that effort is being rewarded. But also the importance of not having Jasmine Walker. You know, in the preseason, she really showed she had a gamer mentality and could shoot the rock. Yeah. So you're talking about not having the spacing and shooting ability of Christy Tolliver, of Walker. You know, that really helps an offense flow. And this young player, you know, we didn't really get to see the full potential of Jasmine Walker. I'm very excited for the future.
Bright spot, she was doing some light shooting at shoot-around earlier this morning. It was good to see. And fans, let me assure you, the stroke is still there as Taya Cooper finds the mid-range. It's a 22-9 lead here for the Sparks in the early going. Seattle shooting just 21% from the field. Here's McBagor, and it's going to be a block after the officials confer. One had a charge. I think the other had a block. They conferred, and it's going to be a blocking foul called against LA.
No, Taya Cooper's still moving right there, and that's where the foul is coming from. But boy, was Burke coming in with a full head of steam.
Full head of steam. Kennedy Burke there, I beg your pardon. Burke, the local product out of UCLA.
Yep, someone I followed her career at UCLA with Coach Close, doing a great job building out that program. And, you know, we also got Jordan Canada on this team from UCLA.
That's
just
right.
You start to have programs that begin to have a reputation for their players are ready. You got pro players. And we spoke with Coach Quinn earlier today. We were talking about Carly Samuelson joining the roster alongside Katie Lou. She said, well, hey, you know, your Stanford girls, they're pro ready. You know, they're smart, they can shoot. Like, so programs start to get reputations. Kennedy Burke showing what UCLA can do here.
Cooper, the hesitation, pulls up free throw line long, and Mercedes Russell back in there with those 2 fouls to grab the rebound.
My freshman year, I distinctly remember catching many, many buckets from Noelle Quinn and Nikki Blue. And they were on UCLA. Woo! Problems.
Noelle Quinn, a legend here in Southern California high school hoop as well. As Taya Cooper gets to the cup, the Coop scoop for sure, as she gets her second basket of the game. Quinn, the promising career at Bishop Montgomery High School, actually the head basketball coach there as well. Her alma mater in nearby Torrance. Here's Epiphany Prince, woo, and she steps into a three. Big shot needed there for the Storm. Here's Cooper on the run. Cooper, the runner at the buzzer, no. And that's how we'll end this first quarter. So Sparks with an 11-point lead as they made 55% of their shots as we head to the end of the first on Spectrum Sportsnet. Sparks lead 24-13 after one as we welcome back to Staples Center. Rashawn Haylock alongside Roz Gold Unwoode. Roz, pregame we talked about the bounce back for the Sparks tonight. So far through the first quarter, it looks pretty good.
Yeah, I mean, first of all, the aggressiveness that they're showing on the glass. The Sparks are out-rebounding the Storm 14-5 on the glass. Also, the effort is defensive as well. We talked about how important it was to have a strong start defensively, holding the Storm below 25%, 29% from both three and the field. So defensively, getting themselves going on the offensive end, sharing the ball and knocking down shots.
Sparks shooting 60% as first possession ends up in a turnover here in this quarter. But Seattle can't take advantage of it in the break, so Prince will bring it back out to run some offense. Epiphany Prince, the veteran out of Rutgers, kicks it out, and there's Carly Samuelson, a three. No, Carly getting her first action here today as a member of the Seattle Storm, returning back to Los Angeles, taking on her former team.
Yeah, she's really excited to be on the same team with her sister, Katie Lou. She said basically they're living together at this point. They're almost like roommates because they're spending all the time together on and off the court. It's a real family affair, and she couldn't be happier, honestly.
This is her third game now with the Storm. She played 11 games here with the Sparks this season. As Coffee rises for a three, no. Rebound taken by Russell, her third. No Jordan Canada tonight either for the Storm. As you take a look at Coffee here coming up with the steal. Coffee in the lane, kicks it out. Wheeler wide open for three. She got it. Erica Wheeler puts the Sparks up by 14.
You want to talk about versatility? Look at Nia Coffee bringing the ball up the court like a point guard, running that transition play textbook style. A little bit of everything for Nia Coffee.
She can do it all, right?
So Erica Wheeler in passing lanes, effort. Nia Coffee coming up with it and takes the middle, so that gives her an option to pass to either side of the court. Enough savvy to draw the defense, just enough dribbles to draw the defense and then kick out. I mean, that's nuances that we don't always see from a forward.
You see the intentionality there of that. And we're going to have a foul against Garantes away from the ball as 6'6" Mercedes Russell went flying on the deck.
You know, you look at the Storm right now, and their start has been really flat. You know, in part that's on them, and in part it's just the intensity that the Sparks are playing with, particularly on the defensive side to start.
And the rebounding, I mean, that can't be overstated. They're outboarding Seattle by 8 here, 14-6.
It's typically when you're looking for, how can I see who was the more aggressive team? You can look right at the rebounding column.
Long three, no good there by Burke. And here comes Taya Cooper. Wheeler. Cooper, a wide open look at three, and she gets it. Taya Cooper knocking down the long range bucket. She's got 7 now off the bench for Derek Fisher. And Coffee nearly coming up with another steal as she gets her hand in the passing lane there against Burke.
And with Christy Tolliver out, Taya Cooper is going to get more opportunity. Right there, just the Sparks are playing unselfish basketball and moving it. Taya Cooper had her feet and hands ready, stepped right into a wide open shot there. You know, she kind of made her mark at first, just defensively being a pest, bringing energy, but more and more, she has looked comfortable on the offensive end.
You talked about players having to adjust to different roles throughout the season. I mean, another great example of that is Taya Cooper, right? In the starting lineup at times, coming off the bench at times. She's been asked to do a little bit of everything from like a minutes perspective, right? And she's continued to be there.
You know, and one of the interesting things she said after practice once, you know, is just how that long road trip was her real first long road trip. This is essentially like a rookie season for her. I mean, as far as like a lot of the experiences last year in the bubble with a shortened preseason, no camp, then the bubble experience, like here is really traveling on the road. Like she's learning many things for the first time this season.
And a travel card against Katie Lou. Yeah, a lot of second-year players are saying, like, this is kind of like my rookie season because
Taya will say that. She's like, this is like my rookie season.
Yeah, being down there in Bradenton in the Wubble, you know, they were just there. But now, you know, dealing with WNBA travel and things of that nature for the first time, visiting different arenas for the first time.
Right. She was impressed by the Minnesota Lynx fan base. What were some of the other arenas she pointed out?
She talked about Brooklyn, although there wasn't really many fans there. But the Washington crowd, she was complimentary of.
And, you know, Coach Fisher said while that road trip was hard results-wise for the Sparks, the bus trips that they took provided a lot of opportunity for bonding.
Derek Fisher taking the timeout and not happy with some of the officiating here. So he'll discuss that, and we'll take a break. Sparks by 16. You're in a must-win situation. Your stars have to be the tone setters, and Neko Gumake doing that tonight, leading the Sparks with 8 points.
She's playing a methodical and thoughtful game, you know, just getting to her spots. Her teammates are finding her. She's not forcing anything. She's put on a clinic of ranges, playing close to the rim, showing the mid-range game as well. I always say when you catch Neko Gumake on the move versus being stagnant against the defense, she's got the mobility, the intellect, and the athleticism on top of that, the finesse and the grace. Like, it's almost like watching a gazelle out there play in her movement to make a play happen.
Cox getting her hands in there. Now Wheeler and Russell fighting for it, and no one giving an inch. Erica Wheeler shaking her head, no ma'am.
I like it though. Who's gonna give it up first? Y'all could both stand there. Who gave it up first? I like that. Who wants to rock more? No, but we need to see that. The Sparks played the Connecticut Sun last game, and we're down 17-0 to start the game. You asked me before the game, what's the response from the Sparks? I like the feistiness there. I like that Erica Wheeler wasn't going to give up on the play. And look how small Erica is going up against Mercedes.
She's giving up almost a whole foot. 5'7" on your left, 6'6" on your right.
Roster height.
You saying that's a radio TV roster height? Ross,
don't tell Erica I said that. So I like the fight. I like the gutsiness, so you need that.
There's going to be a violation here against Wheeler. She didn't jump. So Seattle will have his sideline out of bounds. But that feistiness, that tenacity, we've seen it on the boards.
Yeah.
Sparks with a 9-point advantage there on the glass.
Yeah, you know, watching Erica Wheeler this season, she's really become, it's been a joy to, you know, watch her really step into roles here with the Sparks. The Prince can't get that one to go, but, you know, and then you see her Instagram, she's posting videos of being at the Adidas store where she's front and center in a big-time campaign there, just like, you know, how special it is for her to be part of that campaign. It's earned. And she's out here working.
Wheeler. She'll take the three. And that falls right into the lap of Russell, her 4th rebound tonight. Here's Prince, the 12th-year guard out of Rutgers. Katie Lou Samuelson, a wide open three. She gets it.
Nice ball movement from the Storm there across the court. Samuelson has such an advantage because she's so tall. Her release is so high. It is hard to disrupt her.
First basket of the night for Lou. Here's Coffee getting away from everybody, hanging and going off glass. Nia Coffee fully caffeinated here inside Staples. She's got 7.
Air Coffee. She has been phenomenal today, showing every aspect of the game. It's been a Hooper clinic.
Wheeler, double team, and can't pass out of it as it's stolen away by Lloyd. 2-on-1 for the Storm. Katie Lou, lay it up and in. 5 points off 5 Sparks turnovers for Seattle.
You know, the challenge here is, can the Sparks stay locked in and play with this lead? You know, a couple of quick shots or a turnover and suddenly the Storm are on a run. They've been flat all game. You don't want to give them opportunities to manufacture momentum.
That was the first miss for them. Here's Lloyd now going mid-block against Wheeler, falling away. Tough shot, Jewel Lloyd.
Ooh, that is a bag. Like, she's got a lot of moves and counter plays in her toolkit.
Seattle within 11. Cooper will take the three. Taya Cooper knocking down another triple, her second tonight. Lloyd wide open, top of the key. And Nneka there for the board. Cooper now with 10 off the bench to lead all scorers. In the lane, and she'll get 2. You like the aggressiveness here in the early going from Taya Cooper, Ross.
Yeah, and Taya Cooper right now, not forcing the issue, taking open shots, being ready for it, playing with a lot of confidence.
31% three-point shooter on the season is Cooper. Finds herself at the foul line. Former reality TV star, was in the MTV show True Life on Being Recruited back in 2014. They followed her entire senior season in high school.
You know, it's interesting. You talk about her being a former reality star. If you notice, if you're watching just from the last game, her hair has changed.
Yeah.
You know, she's hairstyle's changing. You know, always has great content on social media. Always, you know, she takes a lot of pride in what she's presenting. She had a comment where she said, at practice, where she said people try to judge her and say, oh, maybe she's not serious because she's multifaceted in all these ways. And that couldn't be further from the truth. And I really respected her saying that, because, you know, her journey here has been tough. In order for her to even have this spot on the Sparks, she had to show a whole lot of grit and step up when the team needed her. She is very serious about the game, on top of all the other ways that she's a threat off the court.
Mid-range from Sykes is good. Sparks lead by 17, largest lead of the night here for LA. And it's going to be an over and back violation. Lou had not established herself in the front court prior to catching that pass. So another turnover here for Seattle. They're 6th. And you see the numbers. And Noelle Quinn looking on at her team, shooting just 28% tonight. Sparks on fire, shooting 57%. Nneka can't get it, tries to follow her own miss, but there's Lou with it. Seattle trying to push. Sue Bird with it. Russell, the trailer, tries to spin, no, and then a late foul called by Zowie B.
And Zowie B bails her out, bringing her hands down there. Bails her out with the foul.
AZB didn't like the call at all. Let's see it again.
Body contact and bringing that hand down really got the contact. She don't like that. Rashawn, you trying to say a jump ball?
It looked like she got a lot of ball there.
I think it's the bringing of the hand down for sure.
Yeah.
You know, but one thing that Amanda Zowie B brings to the Sparks, and you see it immediately in her reaction, she's got so much heart. She's got so much passion. You know, she's a firecracker, bringing that to the game, and, you know, is always willing to sacrifice her body to try and make a big play. And has really stepped up when Nneka and Shanae have been injured, going up against the likes, you know, bigger players, and Brittany Griner, you know, Tina Charles, like
no off nights for her.
Sylvia Fowles has really stepped up this season.
Here's Wheeler. Gets into trouble and is stolen away by Prince. Prince, no advantage for her, so she'll bring it back out and Storm will set up some offense. Mid-range there by Epiphany is good.
I have been watching Epiphany Prince wash players since we were like 10. I don't even know, in New York City. Like, she is so good and such a nice spark for this Storm team.
6 to shoot for LA. Sykes with 3. Cross-court pass, Cooper. Got to shoot it, and she hesitated. And that cost them a 24-second violation. Timeout on the floor. Sparks by 13. Nia Coffey in the starting lineup tonight. She's got 7, Ross.
It's been a clinic on both ends of the court. She can shoot from range. She can play the point. All the different versatile positions she can play at. Body control, finishing in traffic, you know, setting others up, hang time, athleticism. Parents, bring your kids. She's playing defense. She's blocking shots. She's going the other way, bringing it up the court. We missed a key assist she had as well in this game. Nia Coffey is honestly so joyful to watch her play.
Yeah, it's been great to see her be able to increase her value in the league this season. She came in with a non-guaranteed contract, just a training camp roster invitee, and played herself onto this team and showed to be quite a valuable cog for Derek Fisher in the Sparks squad. You talked about it earlier, Ross, the versatility, being able to guard essentially 2 through 5 on the floor, and to play anywhere from 3 to 5 on the floor as well, as a turnover by Seattle coming out of the timeout. Here's Sykes in transition. They leave her open, so she'll take the mid-range. No, Lou there to grab the board. Sparks by 13, shooting 53% here in this first half. Skip pass out to Bird, over to Prince, pull up, elbow jumper, oh, in and out. Insomnia, but the long rebound is out to Lloyd. Lou, right around Zowie B to the cup, can't get it, and the rebound's off to Necker. She'll get it into the front court. Now gives way to Cooper. Coop, the elbow jumper, good. Taya Cooper filling it tonight.
Taya Cooper's in the zone right now. Got a couple of buckets that came off of ball movement, being open. Now she's hitting tougher ones.
13 for Cooper as Prince breaking down the D, but no good, as she can't get the finish. Sykes in transition, around Bird, spikes to the cup, no. Back comes Seattle. Here's Lloyd. She can go off at a moment's notice. She's been quiet, just 5 points here in this first half. Prince picked up by Necker. Now kicks it out Lou. Swung around now Lloyd. Finds a mismatch with Zowie B. 6 to shoot. Kicked out Prince. Lou wide open for 3. No, rebound tipped out. And Lloyd had it. Tried to whip it in there, but it was deflected and out of bounds. They say last touch Seattle. Weird scene, just sort of a, I don't want to say lifeless, but not a lot of energy out of this Seattle team.
No, and their offense is getting snuffed out. The Sparks are holding the Storm to 26% from the field, 21% from 3. Only hit 3 threes in the game, and that's, you know, a big part of also, you know, getting them some momentum.
How much are you seeing the effects of no Stewie in the lineup?
It's huge as Erica Wheeler gets a tough shot to go. She doesn't back down from any taller defender. She likes to get right up in the arms of that taller defender and attack. She puts so much pressure on the defense, and she's really good in tight spaces. I mean, there's traffic here, and she's just great body control and English to finish that shot.
I think we need to revisit Erica Wheeler crossing over and finishing that shot on Bird. I think it was so crazy.
Like, under a minute here. Coming up at the half, we'll have Zaila Avant-Garde, the reigning spelling bee champion. She'll be talking to Ross as Talbot got away with a walk there and another walk. And that time they get her for it.
Oh yeah, can you feel it? There is energy in the building right now. That defense was smothering. And this is, at her best, this is Taya Cooper can really be a gnat on the defensive end and affect the game on both sides. Playing when Taya Cooper is smiling, playing hard, bringing pace and energy to both sides of the court, good things happen for the Sparks. We've seen it in spurts. There's a lot of potential for that young lady.
5-second differential between shot clock and game clock for LA. Largest lead of the night. 18 points, the differential. Wheeler pulling up in the lane, she gets it. She's now in double figures with 10.
The backcourt of Erica Wheeler and Taya Cooper has been phenomenal.
They've got 23 combined. Here's Prince. The leaner, and she gets it. Crafty shot there by Epiphany Prince. 2 seconds left for Sykes, and unable to get a shot up. So at the end of the first half, it's the Sparks 45, the Storm 27. This LA team has come out spirited and playing with a ton of energy as the bounce back has been real here inside Staples Center on HBCU night. Halftime here, we'll step aside. Second half about to get underway here from Staples Center. Sparks on top by 18 in the regular season home finale. Taya Cooper leading all scorers with 13 off the bench rise.
Taya Cooper came in ready to go, confident, taking the shots that come to her within the flow of the offense, and then progressively started to get more and more aggressive. Her teammates did a nice job of moving the ball to find her. Right here, this was one of the big impact energy plays of the game. Firing up her teammates, and it's always a good sign when Taya Cooper is smiling, having a good time and playing with joy. It's contagious.
A little shoulder bump there with LT as well as Brittany Sykes. She had played well in the first half. 7 points, 5 boards for her.
And Brittany Sykes has continuously showed us that she has a great two-way game. She can play offense. She's a defensive player of the year candidate, but offensively, she knows the assignment. She understands it and has stepped up to the challenge there. It's a real defensive battle, and it starts with getting on the glass, the aggressiveness and rebounding that the Sparks have brought. 24 to 15 there. Also, the Sparks have 10 assists and have shared the ball very well to shoot, help each other shoot good percentages.
Yeah, I would just circle or highlight that in the middle, bold, whatever you want to call it. No matter what happens in this game, that rebounding tells me that the Sparks are ready to come out here to give the energy and the effort necessary to continue to play for their season, essentially, is what they're doing here tonight, and they have. They'll have it to start this third quarter as Erica Wheeler gets into the front court. Rashawn Haylock, Roz Gold Unwoode here with you. Regular season home finale for the Sparks from Staples Center as Mercedes Russell comes up with the steal. Jewel Lloyd, a quiet first half, just 5 points. Here's Katie Lou Samuelson against Coffee. Nice turnaround follow away is good. She got Coffee up in the air that time, so Katie Lou getting the bucket.
Yeah, Katie Lou Samuelson showing off a lot of body control, keeping that pivot foot down and being able to go the opposite direction and finish.
A change in the lineup. Mag Bagor starting this second half in place of Talbot as Nneka off balance, can't get it with the left hand.
We spoke with Coach Quinn before the game. She talked about Mag Bagor.
Oh, Nia Coffee with the block at the rim.
Being an X factor for this team with her energy, probably looking for a change of energy to start the second half.
And she says she really likes Talbot's energy coming off the bench. So hoping that could be a spark for her team here in this second half. Here's Wheeler in the lane, kicks it out AZB. She was hitting those at shoot around. That one just rolls right off. And Amanda Zowie B yet to scratch here. She's 0 for 3. Katie Lou. Here's Bird now with 6. And it's going to be a turnover on Seattle. Bird lost it. Turnover out of bounds, LA ball. 11th turnover of the night here for Seattle.
Seattle just can't find the rhythm, and again, it's the Sparks who are just being active. You know, putting pressure on the ball, off the screen, trapping it, showing bodies, and defending in waves. It's very hard to penetrate or even see out to pass against that.
Here's Nneka against Russell with 5. Nneka in the lane, tries to go up and under, and foul call. Nneka gets a foul. She'll be going to the line. And if I sound surprised, it's because I am.
You know, Nneka Ogwumike just goes out there and gets the job done. If you listen to her teammates talk about her, they talk about a player who is selfless, who won't use the time to talk about herself or push her agendas. Someone that has a calming presence on the court and in the locker room. You know, just really, you can depend on Nneka. That's such a great word to be described as. She's dependable.
Since her return, she's had 3 games in which she did not take a foul shot at all. Gets her first 2 of the night, but it's been a huge part of the narrative this second half of the season about Nneka not being able to get to the foul line. Derek Fisher has pounded the table for it. Good to see her get a call there.
You know, Derek Fisher talked with us as we see Jewel Lloyd take that 3 and miss. You know, Jewel Lloyd is going to try and get them back into this game, but if she's more of a volume shooter, that's actually what you'd rather see.
Cross court to Sykes. Nice crossover, gets McLemore. Gets it right to the cup. Brittany Sykes now with 9.
Slim is so good attacking in straight lines.
And Russell will get to the foul line. Mercedes Russell may be one of the more underrated players on this Seattle roster. If you take a look at the last Sykes bucket, Roz.
Yeah, Sykes just able to use her dribble and then get that first step, that quick burst, that long step to beat the defense. And from there, the rest was history.
Russell, fourth-year player out of Tennessee. 74% foul shooter on the season.
The coach pointed her out as a very cerebral player, someone she could trust to put on the other team's top center. And again, just really knows what she's going to get from Mercedes' effort.
Nneka with the steal and uses the left, the bucket, and the foul.
Wow. Wow, what mitts on Nneka Ogwumike. That was a tough pass, and that's an even tougher catch. Amanda Zowie B with the high-low, and Nneka Ogwumike making the wide receiver catch there. Very Odell Beckham Jr.-ish kind of, with that little one arm, and in traffic, snags that down and finishes.
Fitting on this first Sunday of the NFL season.
And just Nneka Ogwumike come up to the, this is just like another day at the job. This is her just clocking in and doing her work.
So the three-point play in LA now with his largest lead of the night, 21. Sierra Burdick off the bench for Seattle. We're gonna have a foul away from the ball.
Foul charged to number 1, Amanda Zowie B.
Zowie B gets called for the foul. Her second team foul for the Sparks here in this third quarter. Magbagor against Zowie B, goes baseline. The reverse is good. Ezzy Magbagor.
Yeah, Magbagor is going to be leaned on to make the intangible plays, bring great effort, but if she can also knock down a shot, that's huge.
Coffee can't get the 3, but AZB the tip. Second chance opportunity here for the Sparks. Wheeler gonna go to work now with 6 against Magbagor. Oh, the crossover. Oh, she's denied at the cup by Burdick. 3-on-1. Lou. Oh, rejected by Nia Coffey.
Nia Coffey is everywhere. Do not challenge Nia Coffey.
Second big-time block and denial at the rim for Coffey. Bird a long 3, well short. Sykes with the board. Sykes in transition against Magbagor. Leads into her, no, but she'll get the foul.
Nia Coffey is the enforcer. First up, going this way, Seattle starts the block party. But going this way, there is so much emphasis. This is an emphatic block. Volleyball spike. Met her at the top. Nia Coffey has impacted this game in so many versatile, various ways. Wow. Motor. Jeez, her motor is crazy. She gives up on no plays.
We talked about it. The price went up.
The price is up, baby. Yesterday's price is not today's price. Make that a caption, Nia Coffey. Let them know.
Sykes now with 11. Sparks have 4 players in double figures, along with Wheeler, Cooper, and Ogwumike. Jewel Lloyd against Sykes. done a great job on her tonight. Here's McGregor going off the bounce and uses the left good.
Hey, McGregor has so much potential. She's so long, covers so much ground. You know, a lot of what she's doing right now is instinctual, but she's a young player. It's going to keep coming for her.
Foul away from the basketball, and they're going to get Burdick, who was wrestling with AZB underneath the basket. So first personal on Burdick, who's getting some action here in this second half. Noel Quinn sort of looking for some sort of spark here for this team. As a reminder, no Stewie for Seattle, also no Jordan Canada. Zowie B, the turnaround jumper, she gets it to fall. She was due, she was well past due, was AZB. And gets her first basket of the night. You see the pesky hands there of Brittany Sykes. It's going to take us to a timeout on the floor. Sparks enjoying its largest lead of the night, up by 21. We'll step aside. Sparks by 21 as we're just under 5 to play here in this third quarter. Rashawn Haylock alongside Roscoe Dunwoody. Points in the paint, and the Sparks are feasting there too, Ross.
Quite simply, as far as this game goes, the Storm just can't guard the Sparks. I mean, just face up, dribble, penetrate, and attack. Sparks are taking turns, crossing up and going right at the Storm. Storm's defense has been Swiss cheesy, and the Sparks have been aggressive, making the right decisions, and just on the attack, everybody's clicking.
LA doubling up Seattle in the points in the paint category. Swiss cheesy, huh? I like that.
I'm trying to find ways to describe what's happening here, but you saw it.
I like it.
There's a lot of holes. Yeah.
Facts. Officials discussing something. They may have to clean up something on the floor. They were swag surfing during the break, so might be some of the onshore flow there on the court from all that dancing around.
Right. Too much drip on the court.
Too much drip. It's HBCU night here inside Staples Center.
Like, no, it's extra live.
It's been litty, as the kids would say.
What are the kids talking about these days?
I'm trying to keep up.
I don't know.
I go to you for that.
Please.
Here's Epiphany Prince, guarded by Coffee. Prince was a bright spot in the first half for
really was.
Seattle. Just 2 to shoot for Lloyd, and shot clock violation. It's another stop here for the Sparks defensively.
Yeah, and the thing is, too, like, the Storm really haven't been able to get rhythm or even something different, some kind of different energy off the bench, partly because they're normal Spark players that come off the bench, you know, are in different roles or have even started the game because Brianna Stewart's out. I mean, it's a lot to have the reigning Finals MVP out and try to figure out, how do we manufacture our offense? What are we doing?
There's Neko Bumake. We talked about that, Ali and I did in the last broadcast. Sparks dealing with a lot of injuries. You see the injury bug hitting Seattle here tonight, and some other teams have had injuries as well, but like, who are the injured players, right? And your injuries to your top 3 players is a little bit different than injuries to players 9 through 12, so to speak. And so Seattle tonight, without his best player and arguably, you know, first player off the bench, number 6 in Jordan Canada. And so they're seeing the effects of that here tonight. And Noel Quinn saying she's not so much concerned about the wins and losses, just want to generate some good habits going into the playoffs, and not necessarily pleased with what she's seen here so far tonight.
Especially if the Storm eventually find themselves in a situation where they, you know, get a bye, but they end up still having a single game elimination to play. You know, you want to make sure that you don't kind of limp into the playoff situation and go up against a team that might be building momentum, you know, has just come off a win to see you in that game. You know, that's a dangerous spot to be in. You know what you understand what I'm trying to say?
Absolutely, yeah.
And so you want to make sure you have the right momentum, because especially if they end up with only one round bye. And Epiphany Prince has been a real bright spot for the Sparks, I will say that. She's made good decisions. She's been an offensive threat. She's found other players.
She's got 9 off the bench to lead Seattle. There was a thought that Seattle was sort of getting its legs back underneath them heading into tonight, but not necessarily looking to be the case. As take a look at the New York product, Epiphany Prince.
You know, nice stop and go, hesitation, change of pace. Epiphany Prince can score any which way. This is a lethal score, and, you know, really has done a nice job of being great at her role for the various teams that she's been on towards the end of her career here. This is somebody who easily was the star of programs and franchises, and now, you know, is coming in as that veteran presence and someone who can change the game with her ability.
A gifted scorer as NECA hits the free throw. Prince once scored 113 points in a high school game. Not too many people who hit that century mark in a high school game. Remember, high school, they only played 32 minutes. And she scored 113 points as a prep at one point. Former rival in high school, Latina Charles. Their schools were top 2 teams in the country at one point.
Yeah, I mean, I grew up with them. They were great. I mean, Epiphany Prince, people were scared to see her on the court. You know, type of player with legendary players like Shannon Bobbitt herself. Like in New York, they're part of lore. They're part of legend. You go to any park tournament and they pull up, it's like so much respect and love. That's a New York City giant legend right there in Epiphany Prince. Make sure y'all put some respect on her name.
Foul against Lloyd there. It's going to be going the other way. Talbot up off the bench for Seattle. She'll check in. And Lloyd will have a seat. Second personal foul on Lloyd. Just 5 points, 3 boards tonight. 2 of 9 shooting. She's missed all 4 of her 3-point attempts.
And that's an important note, too, because we haven't talked about the defensive effort of the Sparks and many different bodies on her, including at times Brittany Sykes, like slowing her down. They know that she's going to be looked to step up for this team scoring-wise, and she has found no rhythm. The Sparks have put clamps on that.
You talk about her being a volume shooter, 35 points in 33 minutes in a game at New York recently, as Bird tries the 3, goes up and over. But she's someone who can get hot and get hot in a hurry, and the thought was, entering tonight, okay, no Stewie, but that just means more shot attempts for Jewel Lloyd, and you never know how that could go. Fish was expecting a big night from her tonight, and that just has not happened. Under 2.5 to play here in the third. Cooper, 5 on the clock. Cooper falling away at the free throw line, short. Rebound is off to Burdick. Talbot, she can't get the 3. Seattle just 3 of 19 from beyond the arc tonight. Carly Samuelson will be checking in next time it's dead for the Storm. Here's Cooper, leaning, no, rebound snatched by Burdick, and here comes Bird. Cross-court pass to Prince. Magbagor, cross-court to Talbot. Prince with space, long-range 3 is good for Epiphany Prince. First Storm in double figures tonight. She's got 12 on 5 of 8 shooting off the bench for Noelle Quinn. The lead is 20 for LA. Agumake, the long 2, in and out, but Sykes there for the board and the putback. Brittany Sykes, give her 13 to go along with 8 rebounds to lead the team.
Brittany Sykes does all the dirty work. You can count on her to be there.
Magbagor, too strong off the glass, and here comes Cooper. Taya Cooper, down the lane, no, but she was fouled from behind. Epiphany Prince there picking up the foul, and Taya will go back to the stripe.
You know what I'm seeing from the Sparks tonight, it's just everybody is in sync, and there's great efforts from every single player. You can really point to a number of players who have chipped in to this big lead. And that's what Derek Fisher was talking about. It can't just be 2 or 3 players, you know, doing the contributions. Everybody's got to put their little chip in, you know, put their contribution in, and it adds up. Every single player today for the Sparks has chipped in to this big lead.
He talked about maybe they felt some of the pressure of that the other night. You know, if we make the playoffs, depends on me and my performance. And that may be a lot for some players. And he thought maybe there was some of that the other night, but certainly seemed to be playing a lot freer, a lot more loose tonight, and lead Seattle here by 24.
Well, you know, sometimes when you put the pressure of the world on your shoulders, which largely, I mean, has been created by the Sparks. They dropped a lot of things that they could have won. But, ooh.
Nice pass by Prince. Oh, McGregor can't get it. Her rebound rejected. Swatted away there by Coffee again. Wheeler.
But you take the pressure off and just approach it as, let's execute and win this game. You know, that makes it much easier to be successful.
Wheeler trying to get downhill. The little hesitation in the lane. Oh, nice dime. What a pass. Beautiful feed there from the PG to Slim.
Erica Wheeler has been phenomenal in her playmaking tonight.
Woo. And Prince can't get the shot off to beat the buzzer. Sparks with its largest lead of the night. On top of Seattle by 26. HBC Unite has been live in the building and on the floor. Fourth quarter coming up. Welcome back to Staples Center, and this tells the story, Ron. Seattle yet to score more than 14 points in a quarter. And Erica Wheeler, she's been great as the PG #1. Oh!
Erica Wheeler, I mean, just her ability to change directions and drops Sue Bird in an iconic crossover and finish. She's got a low center of gravity and keeps her dribble alive. She has been unstoppable, unguardable. Erica Wheeler. The stat line is 10 points, 4 assists, but how many player-dropping plays has she had tonight? She's currently going viral right now for that crossover of Sue Bird. Literally, that is what we say when we say it happens to the best of them. You know, and that is literally it happening to one of the best of them in the way, in the fashion in which she dropped Sue. It happens. But Erica Wheeler has been phenomenal tonight.
Carly misfiring on the 3, though, but there's going to be a foul before the shot.
The Sparks foul will be charged to number 2, Taya Cooper. That's her 4th personal foul. Second Sparks team foul.
4th personal there on Taya Cooper. And another foul away from the ball, this time Wheeler. Wheeler trying to guard her old teammate there, Carly Samuelson. Take a look at the Sparks bench. Fred Williams, LT there to his left. Patricia Trammell, who's been
phenomenal teaching the defensive side of the ball and really unlocking an even further level of Brittany Sykes' game. I mean, Sykes already was a talented player and a strong defender, but this season, you know, Coach LT has really been credited for the motivational tools, the giving her metrics to think about, ways to see the game and prepare for it to be an elite defender.
Coffee, the nice aggressive take.
And you know, we should continue to talk about Brittany Sykes' Defensive Player of the Year campaign, because, you know, it was brought up in a nice write-up about it's hard for people to win awards on teams that aren't, you know, at the top of the standings. But if you look at it, the Sparks really have not been a great offensive team, right? But what's keeping them even in the playoff hunt is the fact that they're a great defensive team. And so perhaps, you know, who is the catalyst of the great defensive team should be considered for the Defensive Player of the Year award. And certainly, I mean, it's hard to sometimes quantify a guard's effort or a wing's effort on defense as Taya Cooper is locking it up right now. They're going to call a foul on Taya Cooper.
Foul on Cooper. Wow, that's going to be her 5th now.
But to come back to the effort of Brittany Sykes, like when you quantify the defensive effort of, that was a push-off. Wow. But when you try to quantify a wing's effort, it's tough because it's hard to know how many points below average did she hold her opponent. And a lot of times you look at things like, who led the league in rebounds or blocks or things like that.
Talbot with the 3.
And so it's hard sometimes to know that, like, Brittany Sykes, game after game, held so-and-so 12 points under or 14 points under, or they shot 2 for 9 in the game. You know, and so that effort must be recognized by Brittany Sykes.
Timeout on the floor. Sparks by 25. We'll step aside. Seattle shooting just 31% from the field tonight. Sparks defense has been active, Ross.
Yeah, Sparks have been in the passing lanes. Everybody's making deflections, having high active arms, moving their feet, keeping the defense in front, being nats, being disruptive, making it hard to run an offense, and feeding off of each other's defensive effort. Denied! Nia Coffey, the enforcer. She says no often, and is disrupting the flow, the non-flow, the non-existent flow of the Storm tonight. Sparks getting 19 points off of the turnovers they forced. Really, another point, too, is they've also done a good job of making them pay for those mistakes.
Here's Coffey on the attack and offensive. They'll be going back the other way. You were talking earlier about Brittany Sykes and that tremendous article written by Tiffany Nguyen of the LA Times, and great point, especially considering, yeah, the offensive woes have been there for LA, but all season long, like, they've been either at the top or near the top of pretty much every major statistical defensive category has this Sparks team. And so that should be noted when taking Sykes' Defensive Player of the Year candidacy into consideration. As Neka, that one may have been deflected there by Russell.
Could Nia Coffey, you know, be in the conversation as like a all defensive team type player?
I think so. I think so.
If it's not this year, it's like it's something that's part of her DNA.
I mean, I think this year is certainly warranted, but I think with typically a lot of times with awards like that, it's not always looked at what you do that season. It's more of like a span of seasons, right? Like longevity. And so, but I think she definitely should be considered for an all-defensive team this year. I think it's a great point by you when you look at not just the blocks. I mean, she's been at the top of the league in blocks all season long, but also the versatility, right? Being able to guard 2 through 5.
Right. And being counted on for that, the mobility of her game, the versatility, the strength of her body. And also we don't talk enough about how hard that is intellectually. Like, you know, really understanding multiple scouting reports, multiple players, even different coverages, like, you know, what you might do in a pick and roll if you're the big in this lineup, if you're the small, like, she's smart, she's hardworking.
Northwestern grad.
No, that part, that too.
Officials going to the scorer's table. They're going to take a look at something here. Once we find out what they're looking at, we'll pass it along to you. But yeah, definitely Nia Coffey should be in consideration for all defensive team. Obviously, Brittany Sykes, of course, could be in consideration for that as well.
This is what we are reviewing. I'm not sure.
Here's the replay here.
Oh, maybe it's the
Sierra Burdick
hit in the back of the head.
Anytime you go to the head or neck area, they're going to be looking at that. So that's a review, and you're talking about a potential flagrant there against Sierra Burdick. So we'll see what they actually decide here, whether it's a common foul or a flagrant foul. But Looking at maybe flagrant 1 territory, perhaps.
Yeah. If you hear the fans and the crowd as we're waiting to hear from the refs, it's HBCU night here at Staples Center. And we're seeing it all.
That's the way to put it.
We're dancing, we're celebrating, we're strolling. There's a lot of celebration here.
Last regular season home game of the season for the Sparks. We hope maybe somehow, some way they can find themselves back into this building before the 2021 campaign ends.
Sparks with a lot of pressure coming into this game in the sense that if they lost, they were out of the playoff hunt, and they came out and understood the assignment.
Erica Wheeler certainly understood it. She's got 12 now. She hits the fall away from the baseline.
Erica Wheeler is the only Sparks player to start all 29, now 30 games of the season. In a season of injuries, changing rosters, she has been a consistent factor you can lean on. Now, Nia Coffey hasn't started all the games, but she has played in every game this season. Ooh.
Oh, look out. Sykes went flying and landed on her former teammate, Katie Lou. Scary play there.
But Carly Samuelson gonna stay with it here. You know, one of the things Coach Quinn told us before the game, she's really impressed with Carly Samuelson's toughness, her competitive nature, and that's something she brought to the Sparks as she,
we saw that here.
right? Like, she battles. She brings a lot of great energy on top of being very smart, high IQ, and can really shoot it.
Now getting an opportunity to play with her sister, Katie Lou, for the first time in the W. They played together overseas in Spain. They're teammates over there, but first time in the W getting to be teammates together.
Yeah, and they're just having a blast. They're basically roommates, she told me before the game. Living at each other's apartment. And I know the Samuelson family is very happy for their daughters. Bonnie, if you're listening, what's up? Congratulations. I know she's getting married too.
Oh, congrats, Bonnie. The trailer, Carly, she leaves it there for Talbot. Not the prettiest of breaks, but they get the deuce nonetheless. Talbot now with 7.
You know, right now, you're just trying to chip away. There's still a lot of time, but I mean, if this game is
nice back door.
Nice back door. If this game is done and out the way, at least what Seattle can do is take some of the bad taste out their mouth and finish with some great plays, some good momentum.
Lauren Cox with 2, falling away, and she gets bailed out with the foul. Magbagor going to get called for the foul. So Lauren Cox will go to the foul line. Had a bright spot on the last road trip, did Cox. To take a look at the last play.
Yeah, I felt that Lauren Cox had some really nice moments, and I think a lot of that had to do with the fact that she finally got that Olympic break to practice with the team, actually learn the plays, get some rhythm, you know, because in the first half of the season, she was just kind of inserted quickly with no practice, no shoot around on the court. You know, she's really got a lot of potential that Coach Fisher is really excited about, specifically on the defensive side of the ball.
Yeah, we saw that defensive impact immediately when she got here. Her first game in a Sparks uniform, ended up playing career high in minutes, actually did that in back-to-back games. Set a career high with 19 minutes in her debut and ended up breaking that career high the following game. Officials looking at this play as well. But it was good to see her go back to Indiana, the place that drafted her, essentially gave up on her, and have a career night like she did on the last road trip. Ended up with the career best 14 at the Fever. And Lauren, obviously respectful of it. Obviously, she understands the business, didn't necessarily want to make it about her or express any ill will towards the Fever, but you got to know it meant a little bit something to her to go back there and in that building and have that type of success.
Absolutely. Players love to go back home and have an opportunity to show out.
So officials are looking to see if the foul occurred before or after the shot clock expired. So there was still time left on the shot clock. So Cox will be at the line to shoot two. Lauren Cox, it's her 13th and 14th foul shot attempts in a Sparks uniform. And she makes 10 and 11. (72-49) LA. And also for the Sparks, nice to see some of the mojo back in this building, right?
Right.
Last game snapped an 18-game Staples Center winning streak for the franchise. But you see some of that Staples magic back here today. This building is special. All you got to do is look up in the rafters.
It's rocking in here.
Prince can't get it, and Cox is there for the board. Lauren Cox now with 5 rebounds off the bench for Derek Fisher. Wheeler the setup, no, but Cox tips the rebound out to Sykes. Credit Lauren with her 6th board tonight. And a nice seal by Nneka, but a foul on the floor against Magbagor. Take a look at the Sparks roster and some things to be excited about. We talked about Jasmine Walker, Gabby Williams as well. The acquisition of her earlier this season. And of course, she hasn't played at all because prior to the trade here from Chicago, had her contract suspended, so ineligible to play this year, but won a bronze medal with France at the Olympics. So she will be in the fold next year for this team. Nia Coffey, obviously a big decision that has to be made on her part.
You know, I would imagine for Nia Coffey, you know, there's a lot of things these players are considering, but there is something to be said about finding a nice fit. And, you know, perhaps you would want to stick around to continue to flow after bouncing around for so much of her career.
Yeah. This is the 5th city, 4th team she's been a part of in as many years. Started in San Antonio. That franchise, of course, moved to Las Vegas. Then went to Atlanta and Phoenix, now here in LA, where she looks like has found a home.
And it was super cute during the playoffs, too. Her and her brother, you know, her brother plays, Amir Coffey plays for the Clippers, and they were playing across the street during the NBA players from each other.
Right across the street from each other. First time that's happened in WNBA history that a brother and sister have played in the W and the NBA in the same city. Here's Wheeler on the attack. Wheeler the scoop on the inside.
This is a battle of foot speed, of can the first line of Storm defense keep Sparks players in front? And the answer has been no tonight. Not going to say that's always the case, but for tonight, the Sparks have just flat out beaten their defender to the basket.
And Talbot hits the deck, but the ball right into the hands of Carly. She can't get the long-range jump.
In particular, Erica Wheeler off the bounce. They've had no answer to stop her penetration.
Wheeler's got the mismatch against Magbagor. She pulls her out. Wheeler pulls up, knocks down the triple. Erica Wheeler now with 17, tied with Nneka for a game high. Timeout taken by Seattle. Under 4 to play here inside Staples. It's been all Sparks here tonight.
Erica Wheeler sizing up the defense, seeing the space, and making them pay.
The WNBA announced its top 25 players of all time, and it's a very purple and gold feel to that roster. 7 members were at one time part of the Sparks organization, including Nneka Ogwumike. The interesting thing about Nneka, there were 7 criterion that you were to judge on, and Nneka was the only player that fit all 7 criteria.
Right, absolutely. And you know, hitting all those buckets from Nneka Ogwumike, so impressive. The list was made up of a combination of on-court accolades and achievement, but also, you know, impact off of it. And who more than Nneka, you know, can really fulfill all of that, including her impact as a leader and in a change agent, you know, in the community on top of what she has done as a player.
The president, right?
The president of the Players Association. And I know that that's not, the majority of this is about on-court achievement, but I mean, when you talk about what the WNBA is about, Nneka Ogwumike absolutely is an example of that.
A close friend of mine says part of putting your footprint on the organization is making sure you put some furniture in the building. The scoop gets the scoop there. Nneka certainly did that in 2016, winning the championship here with the Sparks.
Facts. And you know, fans can vote for, now from that list of 25 names, for their GOAT using hashtag WNBA GOAT vote on Twitter. They can do it on the WNBA app. They can also do it on WNBA.com. And on September 19th will be the last day for fans to vote in, and it'll be announced during the finals. Who is the fans' ultimate GOAT? Now I got to throw it to you, man. Who's your GOAT?
Oh, man. That's a tough one for me. I've been kind of going back and forth and wrestling with that one. As Cooper gets in the lane, you know, I got to stay home, and I got to go with Morningside High School's finest, Lisa Leslie.
Okay, yes. That's an excellent choice, absolutely.
I mean, for me, she is the W. Like, just my own personal experience. Like, growing up here, seeing her play in that very first game, she's the W for me.
Yeah, and you know, thinking about the timeline of how impactful her presence was, I would say for me, it's Cynthia Cooper. You know, just how she made you feel, being on the best team at the start of the league and being named, you know, the finals MVP every year of all those championships, the buckets and points she's put up, the MVP as we look at the Lisa Leslie jersey in the rafters here in LA. But Cynthia Cooper, for me, would be my GOAT vote. You know, I also think Diana Taurasi is up there for me personally.
I mean, there's a handful, probably more.
Oh, there's so many
that you can make an argument for and won't be wrong about it.
It's really actually an interesting Simone Augustus here is on the top 25, but it's interesting how different it is from the men's side in the sense that, like, you know, it's largely a 2-name debate on the men's side. There are other names, but often it's, are you a LeBron or an MJ guy? But for the WNBA, I think this is healthy. There's a number of players you can make really compelling arguments for.
Yeah, and Cynthia Cooper, I mean, starting a dynasty off the jump in this league with the Houston Comets. And for me, my remembering of that is that she was largely overlooked. The name on that team was supposed to be Cheryl Swoops, right? And they kind of put players in different regions, right? So Lobo went to New York because she had the UConn fan base. Swoops had the Texas ties, so she was right there in Houston. Lisa Leslie from right here in LA, Morningside High, USC, so obviously she was going to play for the Sparks, and they kind of designated players to those teams to draw the interest. And you know, there was so much talk about Cheryl Swoops, and all of a sudden, here's Cynthia Cooper, and she just took over the entire league.
Right. I mean, that's incredible nuggets and knowledge you share there, because, you know, Cynthia Cooper doesn't start playing in the WNBA until she's 34. She was already having a dominant career overseas. So,
and something we don't know here, right?
Right, exactly. And so we talking about the dominance she had. She wasn't no spring chicken, you know? She could have done even more if the W had it started a few years earlier, you know?
Absolutely. Oh, nice block there by Burdick, but Sykes comes out with it. A couple members from Seattle on the team as well, Sue Bird and also Brianna Stewart. In addition, Lauren Jackson. Oh, the Cooper show is real.
Yo, look Look at Erica Wheeler. She did a full court sprint. Had her doing shell drill.
Coop now with 19.
Wow, what a day for the Sparks.
We'd be remiss, Roz, if we didn't thank our fantastic crew that's been with us all season long. A couple different producers, Mark Shaw, Bettina Shore, Matt Graham, Jerry Weinstein, Jason Moon, been manning that director's chair all season long. Appreciate all your efforts, my man.
Shout out to the crew, shout out to the squad.
Everybody else as well. Your efforts have not gone unnoticed by Sparks fans out there. Cooper, a long three. If she made that, I was walking home, Roz.
I was gonna say, hey, you finish the broadcast.
You was gonna see me walking on the 110. But definitely appreciate everybody that's used their talents to put together one of the best broadcasts throughout the entire league. I would certainly say that.
My friend Rashawn, it has been a pleasure to be on regular season games with you.
You telling me. It's been just a treat working with you and Allie as well.
Absolutely. Hopefully
we had our whole squad together for that one game, but
hopefully we get to see more Sparks games in a playoff run.
Absolutely. Sparks will finish the season at Atlanta and at Dallas. But they win this one here tonight, 81-53 on HBCU night. The regular season home finale here for the Sparks, and they give this home crowd something to cheer about on the way out. Derek Fisher with the thumbs up as we take a look at the standings here. And with the win, LA now just a game behind Washington for that 8th and final spot. Tied with New York right now currently. LA does not own the tiebreaker over Washington, but the tiebreaker with New York is kind of still up in the air. It's still to be determined, but this win certainly helps. A win against the number 3 seed currently in the league will definitely pay dividends for the Sparks, and if in fact they are tied with New York.
They live to fight another day.
Absolutely.
They live to see another day and compete for a chance at the playoffs. And more than anything, this was a great team win. The energy of it, everybody chipped in and did something, gave their part. It was an offensive success. It was a defensive success. A lot of great individual efforts as well.
Certainly. 4 players in double figures for the Sparks, led by Taya Cooper's 19 off the bench. Wheeler had 17, Agumake 17, and Sykes with 15. Epiphany Prince, the only player in double figures for Seattle. She finished with 12. The Sparks here expressing their appreciation to the home crowd here. I tell you what, man. The convention center was one thing, but there's some magic, there's some juice in this building.
It was rocking it here today, and it had everything to do with the Sparks bringing their A game.
And bringing her A game tonight, setting the tone, was the point guard, Erica Wheeler. 17 points, 4 assists on 7 of 12 shooting, and right now she's with Roz.
Erica, congrats. What did the team commit to as a team to get this win tonight?
Man, we just won it, man, and you know, how Fish do it, man. He just told us, like, look, man, no matter what, we don't know how the playoff thing's gonna go. Just play your heart out. If this is your last game of the season, or this is your last game of your life, how would you play it? How would you leave your mark? And that's what it was, man.
Were you guys aware that if you lost this game, you were out of playoff contention?
I mean, we know that, but we're not worrying about that. We just try to focus on the team and, you know, just do the things that we need to do as a team. We don't worry about the outside noise. And I think that's what we showed tonight. We showed grit. We showed that we won it. We showed that we want to be in the playoffs.
Speaking of outside noise, I don't know if you're aware you're currently going viral right now.
Why?
Well, so you dropped Sue Bird.
Oh, man.
And it was crazy.
Oh, I'm sorry to do the legend like that.
And look, that is a legend. We say this very respectfully, but we need to know, take us through that play, the crossover, and on top of that, coming through with the made shot to finish the play. Can you break that down? Do you remember the play?
I mean, I just made a read, man. You know that, Sue gonna try to overplay me, and I know that. So just me changing my pace, and she reached for it, and I just, put it through my legs, and sorry, Sue.
Yeah, and it happens to the best of them.
Yeah, man, that's the OG, man.
Now, For you, with this team, you are the only player to start 30 games this season. Now, can you just talk about the role you've had to take on with the Sparks this season and stepping into that?
Man, this Fish, man, he believed in me. You know, even when I have, you know, not so good games, he still believed in me. He still put me out there. He still put me in pressure situations. So that's all my coach, man. He believed in me, and I'm trying to just do my job the best of my ability. And I haven't played 35 minutes or 34 minutes since high school, so I take it with pride. You know, whatever he needs for me to do, I'm going to do that.
Absolutely. Well, you guys live to fight another day. Congratulations. Great game.
All right, thank you.
Thanks to Erica Wheeler. This our last game, but the Sparks will return to action Thursday at Atlanta and then at Dallas to finish the season. Special thanks to all of you out there for watching, our fantastic crew. For Rosgold Unwoode, I'm Rashawn Haylock. Sparks fly, 81-53. Good night from Staples Center.